Hello YouTube fans, here again. And now I thought I'd do this one. Now I've done Evil Dead, and I've done Evil Dead 2, Dead Before Dawn. Why not this one? Army of Darkness. Now, Army of Darkness is a confusing one. And the reason why I say it's a confusing one is because the end of the day, right, the end of the day, um, it's confusing for a lot of reasons because is it a third Evil Dead film or not? As you know, in the early 90s it had its own title, that being Army of Darkness. It starts off, it falls on from Evil Dead 2. The difference is you've got different actors playing as this woman. And it shows a bit where he saws his arm off, or his hand off, I should say, and a bit where he gets sucked into the medieval times. Now, anyone who's seen Evil Dead 2 will know how it ended. You know, he shoots that weird bat thing, and people are praising him like he's a god, and he's streaming. That doesn't happen in Army of Darkness. It's always a bit where he falls down and he gets battered. He gets battered a lot in this one, actually. He really gets mistreated a lot in the film, and I mean a lot. And he gets to choose of being an evil knight, and he killed people. You got a princess throwing rocks on him, and people are throwing rocks on him left, right, and centre. You know, we're stuck in the medieval times. And I do like the bit where he tells the story. He used to work in a shop, well, he still works in a shop, you know, pricing items and selling things. Basically doing what I'm doing, but more into the shopping side. And they put him in a dip anyway, because he's now in the medieval times. And he's got to fight this weird bog-eyed monster. I'd say with this one, it's more of an adventure film. You know what I mean? There's a bit where someone, before he gets pushed into the stone, the rock, I should say, the big dip, somebody already got pushed in there. You got blood shooting out everywhere, really over the top. You know what I mean? It's over the top. It's laughable. So this one, I would say, out of the two Dead films, even though this is its own film, it's more light-hearted. It's more of a comedy, more of a dark adventure film. Anyway, he's fighting that bog-eyed monster because he's got pushed down the dip, saws it up, arm, legs, the lot, over the top, made for laughs, gets out. Now, people might say, well, Ash is a bit of a dick in this when he come out. He twatted someone. In many ways, I can understand. Let's say I'm Ash, right? I'm Ash. I get rocks flung on my head. I get accused of something I haven't done. I got sucked into time. My girlfriend had to behead her. I get pushed into a bog. I get this weird monster trying to eat me. And then I come out and then realises I'm innocent after throwing stones on me. I think it's safe to say, right? I think it's safe to say I'd be fucking pissed. So, yeah, I can understand why Ash did that. So now they want him as this hero. And the princess who accused him, there's sort of a bonking scene, but you'll see much. Very pretty to look at. And the only bit is, right, the only bit of this, so I have this, right? You got a poster of Ass, right, where he's got the chainsaw on his arm, like was in number 2, and he says that line, Juve, a lot. They're trying to stop him having that chainsaw, and it's the same way. I'd love to see him have that chainsaw, sawing up more zombies, sawing up more dead eyes, a lot. And you don't see it. You don't see it, right? But what you do see is a good adventure film. You know what I mean? I'd love to see him sawing more bodies up, sawing up more heads, you know, to sawing more dead eyes. But you don't see it, but it's doing not a bad film. You know what I mean? It's more of a fantasy. It's more of a fantasy and adventure feel to it. It's, yeah, I'd kind of go for that. He gets a mecha arm, but I would just sooner seen the chainsaw in the arm. That's what I'm going to say. I sooner seen the chainsaw. Now they send him on a mission, right, to destroy the evil, right? In the book, you know, the Book of the Dead, the Omicron, and they're giving these words. Now I can kind of understand they're giving these stupid, long blooding words. Even I would have blooding forgotten, and I'm like good at memorising numbers and so on, right? So they send him on that, right, to find the Omicron, read the book, and by accident he reads it wrong, which brings out the Army of the Darkness, the Army of the Dead, which then sums up the film Army of Darkness, shot in 1992. Because of that, his Thursday, people were pissed with him. You know what I mean? They're pissed. You got another army on the way will help him. And I do love to see him. He gets that car and he's fine a toss. I told us before that, you've got his woman, the princess, who gets abducted. And you've got these evil little things what pick on him, like all these double of assists, and I love it. I love the fact you've got all the double of assists. You know, Bruce Campbell played 2 roles in it, where he's whacking himself and they're trying to death. Or I love the fact that it's hitting him and he's hitting him, and I love it. I mean, this one is more of a fantasy adventure feel. You've got the scene again where the thing going and that thing's falling ass about. But I do love it. I love it. Now, out of all the Dead films, this one, they did actually have a lot of deleted scenes, right? They did actually have a lot of deleted scenes, and they did have a altered ending. And I'm kind of happy we went with the ending what we've now got in Army of Darkness, because the original ending was, right, they send him back into his time, but by accident they make a mistake and he gets stuck into the apocalyptic universe. So it's kind of similar to Evil Dead 2, Dead Before Dawn. He's stuck into his own era, or he's stuck into that era, I should say, and he's streaming. He sort of did that originally for Army of Darkness, but happy to say it doesn't have that ending. The princess, as I said, gets abducted. She gets turned into a dead-eye, or sort of like a dead-eye, and they've got a scene in it where he's streaming his head off. He's going, I mean, he's not streaming his head off, but they've got the princess, I should say. And they know now the Army of Darkness is going to attack the tassel and he's going to attack them. He's doing some barking, it'll shut up. It's a little dog, it never shuts up. But yeah, they've got a scene in it, right, where they've got the army, they've got skeletons, and they've got a fight them. He's in, I love the car, what they make though. It's the car, and he's slicing through these skeletons. I do admit the skeletons starting to remind me of, do you remember the film Jason and the Astronauts? Starting to remind me of them, of the skeletons, and he's cutting through them. It has a lot of humour in it. It really does have a lot of comedy and humour. He fights them, he enjoys that evil monster fucking ugly looking thing. He saves the princess, comes back to her princess, and then they send him into his error. You do get a bit where he's telling the story of what happened in Army of Darkness, and then you've got, for some reason, you get this woman, right, who turns into a dead-eye. He gets a sock gun, shoots it up and down, shoots it about, kills the fucking thing, says that line, Juve, you don't stop here. I love he's on the skateboard, he's moving the toss. And to me, Army of Darkness, is it one of them you take serious? Is it one of them you take serious? Was any of them really you take serious? But it's kind of the same, it didn't have that horror feel to it. With Army of Darkness, I would say it was more of an adventure film, you know, but I'm a sucker for adventure films. You already heard me say I like fancy, I like adventure films. So there with it, I like this one, Army of Darkness, sort of 1992. What can I say? It's a dud. It's a dud. Like I say, again, so it's one of them with Ass though. Ass in Evil Dead. Could that might be in the original one? You see him get blown in the air and then it ends there. You're thinking, is he dead or alive? Evil Dead 2. So bits with this woman, but never mentions his mates. Never mentions them. Then at the end of Evil Dead 2, he's trapped in time. You've got knights cheering him like he's a hero, but it never explains what happened in the third one. The third one, he gets bounced on the floor, so the people are now battering him and treating him like the M&E number flipping one, the bad guy, I just say. I'm not the frigging word now, it's mugging me words, but they're treating him like he's a fucking bad guy. And then at the end of it, they're treating him like the boss and Buddha. So with the Evil Dead films, they always wonder was asked the same character in all the Evil Dead films. Number one, you think he dies. Number two, he gets stuck in time, then they're tearing him like he's Superman. Number three, they batter him and then treat him like Superman at the end. But I love it. I mean, I remember the art covers back in the day, the chainsaw. I love the bit that says, Juve, give me some sugar, babes. I love the one-liners in it. There's a bit where they mentioned, well, why don't you not stay in that era, in that time? And he said, no, I'm happy where I am, working in a shopping mall. I'm kind of happy, though, that they went with that ending, you know what I mean? Because in two of the Evil Dead films, sort of had a, you know, one you could say sort of had a downbeat ending. The second one sort of had a downbeat ending, so I didn't really want to see him now if this was to be the last Dead film of him stuck into a apocalyptic universe, steaming with tears on his eyes, going no, like he did in number 2, and him tapped into another universe. So I felt in this Army of Darkness, it ended beautiful. It ended on a beautiful knots. I mean, a beautiful knots. So that was Army of Darkness. Back in 1992, it was the end of the Evil Dead films, until a couple of years later when they made the TV series. Maybe on the road one day, I've never seen the series, but maybe one day I'll look at them, maybe review them. But into then, I'll see you soon. Have a good one.